You sit down to do the one thing that actually matters today. You open the document, and within about 4 minutes, you're checking your phone. You didn't decide to do that, your brain did it for you. Here's the uncomfortable truth: the ability to sit with one hard thing for a long time without flinching is becoming rare. And in an economy full of distracted people, the rare thing becomes the valuable thing. Cal Newport calls it deep work. And in the next few minutes, the owl and I aren't just going to summarize the book. We're going to show you exactly how to do it. The 4 rules, the tactics, and the one habit that's quietly destroying your focus without you noticing. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Inky Owl, where me and my wise little friend turn the world's best books into their biggest ideas in minutes. Today's book is Deep Work by Cal Newport. Let's dig in. Newport splits everything you do into 2 buckets. Deep work is professional activity performed in a state of distraction-free concentration, pushing your abilities to their limit. It creates new value. It improves your skill, and it's hard to replicate. Writing the thing, solving the hard problem, building the skill. Shallow work is the opposite: logistical, non-demanding tasks, usually done while distracted. Email, Slack, meetings, rearranging your to-do list. It feels busy, it even feels productive, but it creates almost no new value, and anyone can do it. Here's the part that should genuinely scare you. Most people now spend almost their entire working life in the shallows and never even notice, because shallow work is exhausting. You end the day drained, having produced nothing you're proud of. And Newport's core argument is this: deep work is becoming rare exactly at the moment it's becoming more valuable. Which means if you can build this one skill, you become almost absurdly valuable. Not because you're smarter, but because everyone else has stopped being able to concentrate. Now, the idea that changed how I work, it's called attention residue. When you switch from one task to another, a part of your attention stays stuck on the first one. It doesn't come with you. So when you quickly check your email in the middle of writing, you don't lose 30 seconds. You come back with a fraction of your brain missing, and you keep working at reduced capacity for a long time afterward. Now multiply that by the 50 times a day you glance at your phone. You are never operating at full capacity, ever. You've basically never met your own focused mind, which leads to the formula at the heart of the book. High quality work produced equals time spent multiplied by the intensity of your focus. Look at that multiplication. You can pour in hours and hours, but if your intensity is low, the output is low. Someone with a fraction of your time working with total concentration will beat you comfortably. So the goal isn't to work more hours, it's to make the hours you work denser. So how do you build this? Newport gives 4 rules. This is the practical part, the owl's keeping score. Rule 1, work deeply. You will not find time to focus. Willpower is a limited battery, and it drains all day. So you don't rely on it. You build a ritual, pick a fixed block every day at the same time. Newport's favorite for normal people is the rhythmic approach, a daily, non-negotiable deep work block. Say 90 minutes first thing. Then decide in advance the boring details: where you'll work, how long, what the rules are, no internet, phone in another room, and how you'll support it. Coffee ready, water, no notifications. The less you have to decide in the moment, the less willpower you burn. Ritual beats motivation every single time. Rule 2, embrace boredom. This is the rule almost nobody expects, and it's the one that actually fixes your focus. Newport says, don't take breaks from distraction, take breaks from focus. Most of us do it backwards. We're distracted all day, and we schedule little islands of focus. But if you reach for your phone in every idle moment, the queue, the elevator, the 10 seconds waiting for a page to load, you are training your brain to never, ever tolerate boredom. And then you sit down to do hard work, and your brain screams for a hit. Of course it does. You trained it. So the fix is uncomfortable and simple. Be bored on purpose. Stand in the queue and just stand there. Let your mind wander on the walk. Schedule the times you're allowed to use the internet, and outside those times, don't. Even if you're bored, especially if you're bored, you're not building discipline, you're rebuilding your attention span. Rule 3: quit or curate social media. Newport's argument here isn't moral, it's practical. Most of us use a tool because it has any benefit at all. It's useful sometimes. I keep in touch. That's the trap. Instead, take the craftsman's approach. A craftsman picks up a tool only if its positive impact on the things they truly care about substantially outweighs the negative. Not any benefit, substantially outweighs. Run the test. Pick your 2 or 3 biggest goals in life and work. For each app, ask honestly, does this substantially move those? For most apps, the answer is no. And if you're scared to find out, try Newport's 30-day detox, quit, and see who actually misses you. Rule 4: drain the shallows. Finally, you have to defend the deep work you've created, because shallow work expands to fill whatever space you give it. 3 tactics that actually work. 1. Schedule every minute of your day. Not to become a robot, you'll rearrange it constantly, but because it forces you to ask, what is the best use of my time right now, instead of drifting into your inbox. 2. Set a hard stop. Newport calls it fixed schedule productivity. Decide you finish at, say, 5:30, period. Working backwards from a hard deadline makes you ruthless about what actually deserves your hours. He wrote books this way while rarely working evenings. 3. Become a little harder to reach. Batch your email. Answer twice a day, not 50 times. Write replies that close loops instead of opening new ones. Your attention is not a public utility. Here's what I want you to take from this. Focus isn't a personality trait you were born with or without. It's a skill. And like any skill, it's been quietly atrophying while you fed it distraction, minute by minute. The good news is that it grows back the same way it shrank, through repetition. Deep work isn't about becoming a monk. It's about protecting one small window a day where you meet your own full attention and doing something with it that you'll actually be proud of. So here's the Owl's challenge for you. Tomorrow, take 90 minutes, phone in another room, not face down. Another room, one task, no internet. And when your brain begs for a distraction, just let it be bored. That's it. One window. Then do it again the day after. In a world that has forgotten how to concentrate, being able to think deeply is close to a superpower. If the Owl taught you something today, there's a whole shelf of big ideas waiting right here, one great book at a time. Subscribe, and let's get a little wiser together. See you in the next one.